Absolutely. I mean, in the end, radical Islam is incompatible with Western democracies, yet our Western democratic leaders dance around the topic. They don't want to address it. Brendan, UK police are targeting those who chant globalise the intifada in the wake of Bondi. I mean, it's taken the murder of 15 innocent people, for the world to actually start acting on this.
Absolutely. It's shocking that it took this long. Jewish people and Jewish community groups in Britain have been begging protesters for more than 2 years not to use that chant because they say it's an incitement to anti-Jewish violence. And that's exactly what it is. You know, people say, well, intifada just means uprising, or it just refers to kids throwing stones at the IDF in the 1980s during the first intifada. That's not true. We all know what intifada means. The second intifada, which lasted up to 2005, was Hamas-style violence against hundreds and hundreds of Jews in Israel. It was a racist orgy of violence against the Jewish people of the Jewish state. When you say globalise the intifada, that is what you are calling for. And when you say it in the wake of 7th of October, that's exactly what you're calling for. You're calling for more violence against Jews. And Jewish community groups said, please stop using this chant. And they were completely ignored. They were completely written off. And now we've had to have the police intervene. So protesters have been saying the most awful things. And I think that it took Bondi to really have a reckoning with that is quite shocking.
It is. It's a blight on our leaders. It's been. I can't believe it's taken this for them to act. Brendan, a group of protesters from proscribed terror group Palestine Action, they're on a hunger strike in the UK. But this week, radical leftists held a vigil for them. So not for the victims of Bondi, but for this proscribed terror group who've chosen themselves to go on a hunger strike. What does it tell you?
It tells you a lot. I think history will remember this. History will remember that 3 or 4 days after the worst attack on Jews in Australia's history, radical leftists in London and in Dublin gathered to pay tribute not to those Jewish people, but to this group called Palestine Action, which has contributed to the whole climate of Israelophobia, which is now a proscribed group. It's prescribed as a terror organization. It has done some awful things, including allegedly smashing up Jewish-owned businesses in parts of London. The fact that they had a vigil for them, those hunger strikers, rather than for the Jews who were killed by suspected Islamofascists at Bondi, that tells you everything you need to know about the left. They claim to be anti-racist, they claim to be anti-fascist, and yet they have nothing to say about this fascistic assault on the Jews of Australia. They couldn't care less about Jews, and that's another reason why, as we're going into 2026, it's incumbent on more of us to stand with the Jewish community against this threat.
Absolutely. As the world should have from day one. Brendan O'Neill, always appreciate your insights. Thank you so much for joining me on the show.